Oh shit, a new Inkbound update? Oh, holy shit. Okay, so the new Inkbound update is here, and there is a lot to go over, so I figured I'd just run through the stuff that you can see through the menus first. First of all, in the settings, you can choose to enable the stats on your HUD, and that'll show you all your damage stats and crit chance and things while you're in-game on the right side of your screen. Very good. When it comes to quests, quests have been added, quests have been removed, and quests have been changed. For example, the quest that had you kill some of the mini-bosses in specific ways, that doesn't exist anymore from what I can tell. That's been completely removed, and the vestiges that you get from that quest have been moved around or are given to you in some other way. Obviously, new quests have been given as well, one with the correlation to the new Starship update. So you're going to have to go through the derelict Starship, completing some of these quests. Some quests have been entirely changed as well. So, for example, this one here, it used to be finish the run by hitting these requirements. Now it's reach a villain's lair with these requirements instead, which is pretty nice. So yeah, quests added, quests removed, quests changed, and I'm sure there's a few changes that make the game just a little bit, more consistent. On this screen here, we can see changes to the ranked mode, and we can go into the seasons just in 1 second. Quickly though, with the ranked, it now goes from 0 to 20, and you have solo tier and group tier. So right now my solo tier is 8, and I haven't played any group games, so my group tier is 0 right now. But that's what they've done to ranked, and it'll go up every time you beat a game on that tier, instead of having to rank up, the way we were doing it before, which was kind of tedious. So this is pretty good. When it comes to the season pass, obviously there is a entirely new one. I've already played a few games, so mine's leveled up a bit, but you can also change your pass. Now this is actually pretty big, so you can go back to the story begins pass and complete it so that you don't miss out on any of the cosmetic rewards. That's actually really, really huge, and a really self-aware move from the developers that shows they care about their players. I really, really, really like that. But yeah, obviously right now you're probably going to level up the new one. You're also going to get progression rewards from leveling up. I believe it's leveling up the season level, but regardless, these are persistent rewards. Trinket keys are used to unlock trinkets, we'll get to in a second, but I've also unlocked a few new vestiges from these progression rewards as well, which is nice. You also now have a victory board. Now all of these things will be completed, and every time you tally one of these things up, it's going to increase your bar to getting the next cosmetic. This is just a cosmetic only thing, and obviously there's a ton of shit to do here, and I mean these cosmetics look pretty good. I kind of want that Conqueror's Crown. The leaderboard here is for daily challenges which have been added. I'll show you in a sec, and obviously you can change it to Steam friends only. I'm the only one that's completed it at this time, but yeah, pretty cool. So if we come over here to choose how you want to play, quick dive I assume is the same as unranked. It's just taking on a quick run. I haven't done this yet, but I don't think it has any of the modifiers of the deep dive, which is the ranked mode. And again, once you complete one on a certain tier, it will rank up to the next tier, making it harder and harder and harder. Then there's the daily challenges, and these are going to be daily things that will modify a run in a certain way. For example, this time you have to complete it with the Weaver, and you get a bunch of access to legendary vestiges and things like that. You get a starting vestige as well. So pretty cool, and a good way to, compete with your friends and things like that. This is the trinkets. This is a persistent progression thing that I have kind of been anticipating ever since I saw it in the roadmap, and I think I'm happy with how they've done it. These are things that you will unlock by getting trinket keys, by going through that progression, as I said before, and so from what I can tell so far, it's kind of easy to get trinket keys. I think they want you to unlock these as quickly as you possibly can, because they give you a lot of customization in your run. The one I have equipped now is frostbite damage. You can have one with poison, there's one with burn, etc, etc. There's one that will have you access the derelict Starship. It'll, guaranteed shop at the start of your run, and different things like that. And then of course the biggest update is the Star Captain, the new aspect, and this guy is really, really, really cool. Probably, I mean, I've only played a few runs now, but I'm leaning towards him being my favorite so far. A couple things I forgot to mention that I thought would be important. One, you can multi-track quests right now, so if I just click all these, you can see that I've reached my limit, but you can track, looks like 5 different quests that you can track, which was not a thing in the previous update, and this is a nice quality of life change. Down here as well, we can see that the drafting of bindings is now a quest. There have been new bindings added as well, 3 new bindings added, and this is a quest similar again to what they do in Monster Train, where you just have to equip it at least once in the run to add it to the tally progression. Same with the the modifications, the augments of all the bindings as well. Okay, let's go quickly through the other changes listed in the patch notes that are worth mentioning, while some Star Captain gameplay plays in the background. I'm not going to go over the Star Captain's abilities just because I want you guys to discover them for yourselves. There's no point in me spoiling them for you. Just, go and play the game and figure out what you can do with them yourselves. They're actually quite intuitive, so I'm sure you're going to have a lot of fun with them. Obviously, there's an entirely new book, aka map, the Derelict Starship, and it looks pretty cool, honestly. It's got a unique vibe to it, and it's definitely separate in terms of theme to all the other books, which is, I guess it's the only thing we can really ask for. There are new anywhere enemies, as they call them, basically enemies that are able to show up anywhere else in the game. They don't show up in a specific spot. They'll show up anywhere. You can save and resume multiplayer runs, which I guess is a pretty nice feature if if one of your friends has to disappear for a moment or something like that. As you can see in the background gameplay, they've reworked the player movement, and I kind of like this system. I think it's a bit more intuitive than the last one. It's definitely less frustrating than the last one. I've also noticed, new kind of challenges that come along with it. For example, you can definitely use a lot more will, but being able to figure out, how much energy you have left to move and avoid enemy attacks is just something I guess you guys are going to have to get used to. I've definitely taken a lot more damage than I've intended to, just because I have to get used to the system, and it requires a bit more thinking. But you can definitely use more will. It's definitely a more freeing system, and I like the update overall. The enemy movement and aiming in combat has also been reworked. I guess this is just to make combat more consistent in some ways, which is nice. They've done some smaller work with the clarity of the class passive. They've now added it next to the end turn button in the HUD. And there's a ton of other big changes that there's a whole list of changes here with tons of quality of life, tuning, and really, really, really nice things. So definitely go check this update out. It's so much bigger than I thought it would be, and I really like it because it just continues to add depth to Inkbound. This game is one that, after the first 50 hours or whatever of me playing it, it definitely needed more depth, and they've definitely added it in droves with this update. So I'm very happy with it. And yeah, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. See you later, and have a great day.